So we are back once again. I'm your mentor, CA Anu Agarwal, who's going to help you get those wonderful marks in HSC Economics. So continuing our discussion of elasticity, I'm using your text material, guys. So I hope the concept of elasticity is very clear to you. Types of elasticity is very clear to you. Now guys, इस पे मुझे बहुत interest है. I'm really interested in this positive income elasticity, negative income elasticity, zero income elasticity. इस पर्टिकुलर कंसेप्ट पे मुझे बहुत इंटरेस्ट है. देखो वर्ड यूज हुआ है नॉर्मल गुड, ये इनकम के साथ ही यूज होगा. नॉर्मल गुड वो होता है जो इनकम बढ़े तो इंसान ज्यादा खरीदे. मैंने पिछले लेक्चर में भी बताया, बट आई एम रिपीटिंग. नॉर्मल गुड वो जो इनकम बढ़े एंड द पर्सन वांट्स मोर ऑफ इट. इंफीरियर गुड वो जो इनकम बढ़े एंड द पर्सन डजंट वांट मोर ऑफ इट, इनफैक्ट इट वांट्स टू हैव लेसर ऑफ इट. एंड नेसेसिटी वो चीज है जिस पर इनकम का कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. इस बात को बिठा लो. व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट नॉर्मल गुड, inferior goods and necessities, impact on income is if income increases and the demand increases, the good has to be a normal good. Income increases and the demand for that good reduces, it has to be an inferior good. Income increases but there is no change in the demand, that has to be a necessity. Am I very clear in the examination? ये one liner, give an economic word, किसी चीज के लिए भी एक क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. So guys, I hope we are clear. We are clear with the formulas. We are clear with price elasticity. Now coming up to the next thing which we need to understand, types of price elasticity. Can you see that? After explaining you the types of price elasticity. So types of price elasticity, मैंने जब लास्ट क्लास ली थी तो मैंने बोला था कितना रिस्पॉन्सिव है, बहुत रिस्पॉन्सिव है, कम रिस्पॉन्सिव है. इसके बारे में हमने कल भी बात करने की कोशिश करी थी, बट मुझे ऐसा लगा कि आई नीड टू टॉक अबाउट इट अगेन, राइट? सो इफ द प्राइस चेंजेस लिटिल, छोटा सा, मे बी 2.5% or 3%, but the demand increases by like 200% or 300%, you'll say, ma'am, it really responds to the price. It's very elastic. But say the price changes by like 50% or 60%, but still there is no change in the demand. It was earlier 100 unit, it's still 100 unit. You say, ma'am, there's no impact of the change in price. आप price बढ़ा लो, कम कर लो, it is not going to change. The unit demanded will remain constant. This is known as inelastic. Now between these two extremes lies relatively elastic, relatively inelastic, and unit elastic. Unit elastic means 10% change in price, 10% change in the quantity demanded as well. Now that's unit elastic. So let's read from your textbook. So सबको clear हो गया elastic और inelastic के बीच में क्या variations है? Relatively elastic, relatively inelastic या unit elastic. याद हो गया? So look at it. When we say perfectly elastic कैसा हो गया? Can you look at it? Percentage change in quantity and percentage change in price is infinite. Infinite means, can you look at it? It's a straight line. अब आपको बोलेगा मैम straight line कैसे? Actually what I'm trying to say is, let's say the price of the good was 10. Now the price has become 9.9. 9.9 means only 10 पैसा का change हुआ है. The change is only 10 paisa, right? Or if we talk in terms of percentage, then 0.1 divided by the original price, which is 10. Yes? क्या हो जाएगा? Guys, percentage में convert करें तो क्या हो जाएगा? देखिए आपके सामने solve करती हूँ मैं. 1%. It is just 1% change in price. But let's say quantity demanded आपकी पहले 500 थी और अभी quantity demanded let's say 2000. तो percentage change in quantity कैसी हो गई? It is like 1500 units and originally it was just 500. Yes or no? So guys, what is the change? 300%. अब इसको ग्राफ पे प्लॉट करें तो मैं इसको आपके लिए, इफ इट वॉज 10 and it becomes 9.9, एक छोटू सा चेंज है, बट डिमांड, लुक एट इट. इसलिए ये लोग एक स्ट्रेट लाइन निकाल के बताने की कोशिश करते हैं स्टूडेंट को कि द चेंज इज इनफाइनाइट. Small change in price, but the change in demand is infinite. So I hope everybody has understood this perfectly elastic. Perfectly elastic means the elasticity of demand is infinite. It is amazing, right? छोड़ा सा price में change और demand just booms. Now coming up, then they say perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic का मैंने आपसे क्या बोला कि आप प्राइस 10% चेंज करो, 50% चेंज करो, 100% चेंज करो, डिमांड में कोई चेंज नहीं होगा. जैसा कि यू विल नॉट बाय मोर ऑफ सॉल्ट, राइट? इफ यू आर कंज्यूमिंग 1 kg of salt, whether the price is 10 rupees or the price goes up to as high as 100 rupees, or if the price goes down to as low as 1 rupee, but you will still consume 1 kg of salt only, because guys, salt is essential. How do you cook without salt? So elasticity would be zero, yes or no? Why it is going to be zero? Because there is no change in quantity. Change in quantity is zero. Ab anything divided by zero will be a zero, yes or no? So perfectly elastic is infinite, perfectly inelastic is zero. याद हो गया? Then as I said, perfectly inelastic का ग्राफ, guys, ग्राफ बहुत जरूरी है if it comes out to a long question. अब अगेन ये स्ट्रेट लाइन क्यों है? प्राइस कितना भी चेंज हो जाए फ्रॉम P, whether it becomes P1 or it falls down to P2, quantity demanded does not change. It's Q only. It's the same. So it's a vertical line. In case of perfectly elastic में horizontal line. कुछ भी ना याद रहे तो horizontal line in case of perfectly elastic, and in case of perfectly inelastic, vertical line. Am I very clear? याद रहेगा इतना चीज. And then in unitary elastic, जैसा मैंने बोला, percentage change in quantity और percentage change in price same रहे. For example, if the original price of the good was 10 and now it becomes 8, कितना चेंज हुआ? This is the price and now this is the price P1. What is the change? 2 divided by 10 into 100. What is the percentage change? It is 20%. Yes, if quantity demanded earlier was 1000 and now it is 1200. So what is the percentage change in quantity? It is 200 divided by 1000 into 100 is how much? It is 20%. So what is your elasticity? Your elasticity of demand would be 20% change in quantity divided by 20% change in price, which is 1. Yes or no? Guys, same चीज उन्होंने आपको लिख के दिखाई है कि percentage change in price leads to a proportionate change in quantity demanded. It's a similar percentage change, so we say this is unitary elastic. That means unitary elastic matlab 1. ED has to be 1. Now look at the graph. Graph जब आप बनाएं, please see to it. एक तो first of all, I always emphasize on labeling. If at price P the quantity was Q, then at price P1 the quantity is Q1. Look at it. Can you look at the distance? Can you look at the distance? It's same. So guys, when you're drawing the graph, please see to it. If it is unit elastic, elasticity has to be 1. So please see to it when you're drawing the graph. जो आप arbitrarily graph बनाओगे तो ग्राफ में जो डिस्टेंस है उसका ध्यान रखिएगा. ऐसा ऊंचा नीचा नहीं होना चाहिए. Is that very clear? हमको नंबर चाहिए. So relative extremely elastic या perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic और unit elastic. अब इन दोनों के बीच में क्या है? Relatively elastic, where figure has to be more than 1, right? ये कैसा है? That is if the प्रोडक्ट में जो प्राइस चेंज है वो इज लेट्स से 20% एंड द डिमांड चेंज इज लेट्स से 40%, so it is more than 1. So if the elasticity comes out to be more than 1, you say it's relatively elastic. Similarly, just a second, relatively inelastic क्या होगा? Elasticity would not be 0, but it will be more than 0 but less than 1. So now if I try to, तो ग्राफ जब आप बना रहे हो relatively elastic में थोड़ा सा the graph has to be little tilted like this. Relatively inelastic में थोड़ा सा steeper होगा. समझ में आया? थोड़ा सा steeper ग्राफ होगा. ठीक है? If I try to use the whiteboard, elastic या perfectly elastic is the word I should write. Perfectly inelastic, इनके बीच में यूनिटरी इलास्टिक, यहां पर रिलेटिवली इलास्टिक, रिलेटिवली इनइलास्टिक. राइट? परफेक्टली इलास्टिक मतलब स्मॉल चेंज in the price, great change in the demand. So elasticity of demand is infinite. Inelastic में elasticity of demand is 0. इन दोनों के बीच में यूनिट इलास्टिसिटी है तो elasticity is 1. Relatively elastic means it has to be, elasticity of demand has to be more than 1. Yes or no? Relatively inelastic में elasticity of demand has to be less than 1. सोच के देखो यहां पर कायदे से कैसे गुड्स होने चाहिए. लेट्स से लग्जूरियस. आज मैं बोलूं the price of gold has fallen down. अभी कितना fallen down? 60,200 से it becomes 60,000. So the change is minuscule, but the quantity demanded is huge. So अगर मैं इसका ग्राफ बनाऊं तो प्लीज एग्जाम में ध्यान रखिएगा ऐसे बनाएं. दिस हैज टू बी द प्राइस, दिस हैज टू बी द क्वांटिटी. Yes or no? This is your y-axis, this is x-axis, this is quantity, this is price, and you have to mention elasticity is infinite. If I have to draw the graph of inelastic, and here we are talking about luxurious goods. ऐसा luxurious goods में होता है. If I talk about inelastic, please remember this has to talk about necessity. जो goods आपकी जरूरत है, नेसेसिटी है, उसमें प्राइस का कोई चेंज नहीं होता. आप उसको ज्यादा नहीं खरीदते, कम नहीं खरीदते. ऐसे गुड्स आर इनइलास्टिक टू द प्राइस चेंज. राइट? ऐसे में प्लीज रिमेंबर इट हैज टू बी अ वर्टिकल ग्राफ. This is the quantity, this is the price. You can show at price P also the quantity demanded is Q. If the price becomes P1, arrow दिखाना, तब भी quantity is Q. Price becomes P2, then also the quantity demanded is Q. This is inelastic. When you're drawing unit elastic, please make it a point कि आप थोड़ा सा ग्राफ को ध्यान से ड्रॉ करें. दैट इज या तो अपने लिए बना लें. ओके, जस्ट सेकेंड. देखिए मेरे से भी नहीं बन रहा. तो आपको जब ये ड्रॉ करना है तो प्लीज सी टू इट कि आप जब ये बनाएं तो जो स्क्वायर का लेंथ हो वो थोड़ा सा सिमिलर लिखे. सो एट प्राइस P द क्वांटिटी डिमांड इज Q. प्राइस गोज डाउन टू P1, एरो दिखाना. देन द क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड इंक्रीजेस टू Q1. प्लीज राइट डाउन इफ इट इज यूनिट इलास्टिक देन द इलास्टिसिटी इज 1. एक एग्जाम्पल देके एग्जाम्पल लिखना. लेट्स से परसेंटेज डिमांड इन क्वांटिटी इज 10% एंड परसेंटेज चेंज इन प्राइस इज ऑल्सो 10%. सो इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ डिमांड इज 10 divided by 10 is 1. Am I clear? Relatively inelastic में प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड it is between these 2 points. So elasticity has to be less than 1. It cannot be 1. It can be 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. तो इसका ग्राफ जब आप बनाएं, can I use the eraser to rub this so that I have more place? जब इसका ग्राफ बनाएं, so please remember ये थोड़ा सा steep हो, कि ये है आपका प्राइस, ये है आपकी क्वांटिटी. प्राइस चेंज हुआ, can you see? It has to be what you can say, quantity demanded में बहुत ज़्यादा चेंज नहीं होना चाहिए, राइट? इसको चाहें तो थोड़ा सा आप इस तरीके से बनाएं. लेट मी बी लिटिल मोर नीटर फॉर यू. सो लेट्स से द प्राइस इज P, then your quantity demanded is, let's say, Q. The price has changed to P1, but your quantity demanded is Q1. Can you see the distance is very less here and distance is more here? So automatically, अगर मैं, this has to be less than 1, so it will be what? Let's say percentage change in quantity is 10%, but percentage change in price, let's say if it is 40%. तो ED कैसे निकलेगी? ED would be 10 divided by 40. This is going to be less than 1 only, no? How much is it going to be? Yes, it's going to be 0.25. 0.25 means relatively inelastic. इसका ग्राफ कैसे बनेगा? ऐसे से बनेगा. Steeper. Make a steeper graph, right? Relatively elastic. It always has to be more than 1. So please see to it थोड़ा सा ऐसा, right? I hope I don't need to explain it further. So relatively elastic, relatively inelastic, perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, and unit elastic. Unit elastic elasticity is 1. Relative elasticity is more than 1. Relatively inelastic elasticity is less than 1. Perfectly elastic, infinite. Perfectly inelastic, 0. That's all for just now. We'll meet in our next session where we'll talk about the features and the importance of elasticity. Yes, thank you so much, guys. If you're really liking and enjoying our sessions, please do like, comment, and share it with your friends so that more people are benefited.